Hello, hopefuls. 5 years. Five years. That's just so ridiculous. Now, I first have a couple of notes on your videos. I'm going to respond to those first before I reflect on my own 5 years. So Sam, you mentioned about the ring light. Now, my housemate has a ring light and I actually used it the other day for something else and it was so good. And I'm very, very tempted to buy actually the exact one he has because it comes with a tripod as well. So I'm going to have a think, I'm going to do a bit of research, and then I probably will buy myself a ring light. My computer is still not working, so this video is probably not going to be edited so well, which is such a shame because of all videos. Surely this should be the one that's the best, but it's not going to be. Then you spoke about your own 5 years. So the first thing you mentioned was that you now feel like you're talking to actual people rather than just a camera. I feel the exact same way. And it's so nice to have that because when we started, it was more like, who are these people? Whereas now I really do feel we've established this online friend group. You also mentioned that you've spent every year in a new house and that you've moved 8 times. I don't think I've moved that many, but I have moved around quite a bit. And watching back my own videos, I was in one room in the first year, then in a new room in the same house though, a second year. The third year, I'm not sure which house I was in. I think I was in the same house, but when I filmed that video, I was in Sydney. The fourth year, I was in England. The fifth year, I was in a new house. And now I'm in a new house again with housemates that are not my grandmother. In these last 5 years, you met Dave and started a family. That is unbelievable to me. It's so exciting. And it's so crazy to think about where you started compared to where you are now. I mean, you're a mother now. You created a human being. Like, that's mad. You also mentioned that when we started, you were in a bit of a bad place and that you needed that community. And I would say it's kind of similar for me. I was incredibly introverted, and so I really struggled to make friends or be with friends because I just didn't like going outside or meeting with them. But being able to do this online thing, it meant I could keep my introverted nature but still meet you guys and still talk to you guys. And I just think it did a lot for my confidence as well. So, you know, all around positives to come out of this thing. And actually leading on from that, you said that you are so much happier now than when we started, and I am exactly the same. When we started, I was very unhappy. I was in Australia where I didn't want to be, and yes, I was ticking along. Yes, I was happy enough in my skin at the time, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. And now I am, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy at the moment. Obviously coronavirus, you know, some things happen. But putting that aside, like, there's nowhere I'd rather be, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than what I'm doing right now. And if you told me 5 years ago when we started this channel where I was going to be filming my 5-year video and that we were going to be filming a 5-year video, I would have looked at myself in just complete and utter disbelief. Katie Rebecca, your turn. So you said you didn't think it would last this long. Looking back, I think every video that we made for our anniversaries, I always say I didn't think it would have lasted this long, and I still stand by that. Every year I'm like, oh, this might be the year that it ends. And I don't want it to, but there's always that in the back of my mind. And yet we've made it 5 years. Look at us go. You also mentioned about meeting in real life one day, really hoping that. Again, almost I think every single year I said that. But the one that made me laugh the most was the one that I filmed, I think on the 16th of February 2020. And I said, I really hope this is the year we get to meet up. Oh honey, little did you know. 16th of Feb, that was like a month before coronavirus hit big time. One day when this is all over, we'll actually be able to meet up. I noticed, Katie Rebecca, so many of the last 5 years references in your video, and I forgot that you mentioned you were going to be doing that, and then later in the video you were like, oh, I've put loads in. And I didn't know if you were doing them on purpose. I thought it was just by chance, but I really appreciate that. You also mentioned your greatest achievement, so obviously everyone's standards of greatest achievement is going to be very different. Sam, you've created life. Katie Rebecca, you've graduated, and I would probably say my greatest achievement to date is just moving to England. I mean, I don't know if that counts as a big achievement, but it certainly feels like one because it's what I've been wanting to do for the last 5 years. Well, more. And as you mentioned, it's very exciting to think about where we'll be in the next 5 years, and I'd like to hope I'll have a slightly bigger achievement to show for by then, but we'll see. So now to me, she says, already 10 minutes into the video. My first video is a disgrace. It is the worst thing to watch. The top/dress that I am wearing, I had until I went back to Australia for COVID last year, because it finally, after 5 years, had got too small for me. In fact, after more, because I don't know when I got that. My hair. I would say in the last year, my hair's got a lot more curly because I figured out, sort of, what to do with it. But especially that first year, it was just poof. Like there was nothing else to it. Don't know why I was so obsessed with pigtails. No reason. No one around me was wearing pigtails. Maybe that's why. I do still like pigtails, but really, like, I don't know. That video is filled with me doing this. Why? Why did I feel the need to gesticulate so much? Also, can we just talk about how young I was in that first video? I look at that video and I just see this tiny, tiny young child. And I wasn't that young. Like, I am a little bit younger than you guys, but not that much. But it's just really, really weird. And what's really cool though is because I was relatively young, to see how I've grown, literally, like physically. It's really interesting to see. And also my hair actually does change in all of those years. And I do think that's really interesting. I am gonna go now. I'm filming this Thursday morning, so I haven't seen either of your next videos. I don't know if you've put up any new videos this week. But again, I'm working all weekend and I want to actually make these videos, especially this month, because it is such a big deal. I guess I do still use my hands quite a bit, but I feel like it's still more contained than what it was at the start. Anyway, I shall see you guys next week. Okay, bye!